You're so slow. Hurry up and make dinner. And clean up the rooms too. My mother-in-law, Alice, looks like she's feeling really good as she orders me around. It's as if she seems to be so excited to be able to order me around. And my husband, Kevin, looks at me as if it is completely normal that Alice would treat me like her slave. Wow, honey, your house is really comfortable and nice. And the fact that you actually have a maid helps a lot too.
Oh, Mom, do feel free to use her. Hey, you, Mia, you better work hard.
My name is Mia, and I am a 32-year-old office worker. I recently got married to a man named Kevin. I met my husband at a blind date, and as far as I can remember, my first impression of him is that he didn't really leave any impression to me. But when we moved to sit next to each other and talked a little, we discovered that we both have similar tastes and interests. We have so much in common, and we really liked the same music and movies. We had a great conversation about it, and from there we hit it off. We exchanged our contact information to each other and began meeting up. And after going on several dates, we started to go out. After 2 years of going out with each other, we got married. I was at the height of my happiness in marrying the man I loved. When we were going out, my husband was a gentleman, taking care of my health and even going out of his way to come over to my place to cook for me when I was busy with work. So, I believe that I would be able to lead a happy life with him even after our marriage. After greeting both of our families, meeting our parents, having the wedding ceremony and the honeymoon, we began living together. But after we started living together, I had discovered about Kevin's true nature. As soon as we got married, his attitude suddenly changed drastically.
Now that we are married, all the housework is the wife's job, so do it well, Mia.
Huh? What's up with you all of a sudden?
I'm just saying the obvious, you know. Well, it's always been a rule that the wife does the housework. And I grew up in that kind of family environment. So you too should follow my way.
What? No, wait. We both work, you know. In this day and age, it's much more common to share the house chores, right? I can't have such an old-fashioned way of thinking forced onto me.
I see, Mia. You're the type of person who is influenced by everything that follows the trend like that, huh?
No, that's not what I meant. What I am trying to say is that it is not right that I am the only one who has to do all the house chores and bear all the burden. You would only work and won't do any housework, but I'm supposed to do both my work and housework, you know?
Ugh, my God. You keep arguing back to me, huh? If you can't do it, why don't you just say so honestly?
Huh?
Actually, you can't do it, so that's why you're making these excuses, right? And that's why you're justifying yourself by saying things like old-fashioned and such, right?
That's not true.
Oh, you don't have to be so stubborn about it. If you can't do something, just say that you can't do it.
Fine, if you say it like that, then I'll do it. I'll do the housework even when I get home from work.
Is that right? So you will do it, huh? That's a promise then. You better take responsibility for what you say.
I got angry since he provoked me like that. Just you wait. I'm going to perfectly balance my work and the housework. Then, I got myself together and worked hard at both the housework and my work. I even tried not to repeat the same dinner menu as much as possible so that my husband would not complain about it. And my husband was impressed with me balancing out between my work and the house chores, so he did not complain.
I knew you could do it.
I was a little annoyed at myself for being so unknowingly flattered by Kevin praising me like that. I did my best here, so now, Can you do it this time?
Huh?
Oh, were you thinking that you won't do it too? It's not manly of you to let a woman do it and then not get in the game yourself.
Excuse me?
My husband began to take the bait.
If you keep having that attitude with me, you're going to suffer.
Oh, how will I suffer? Please, show it to me. Why don't you just try to surprise me by doing the house chores and your work perfectly? Saying it like that, my husband will now do all the house chores himself. But then, things took an unexpected turn.
What the hell are you talking about? I don't do house chores.
What?
I told you last time that house chores are the wife's job, didn't I? Have you forgotten already? What an idiot.
Oh, of course I remember that. But aren't you frustrated that I said that to you? Don't you want me to be surprised that you can actually do the house chores too?
Well, it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So, nope.
No way. I thought that this strategy was a failure, so I tried a different approach to Kevin. But then, he began to say something really unexpected.
I don't think that you're behaving like how a wife is supposed to be yet, so I'm going to ask my mom to help you.
Pardon me? What do you mean you're going to ask your mother to help me?
I'm going to ask my mother to come here. Maybe we can live together.
What? Live together? I don't want to do that.
Huh? What are you talking about? I won't allow you to ever reject my mother like that.
But we've only been married to each other for about 3 months. So I can't even think about living with your mother.
With that kind of selfishness, you definitely need to be educated.
Kevin, you're the one being selfish here. You don't even listen to my opinions properly and tries to decide everything all on your own.
You really don't understand, huh? Well, that's what marriage is all about.
Excuse me?
Everything what the husband says is a must. But in return, he will take all the responsibility. I've seen my father do that, so that's the way it's supposed to be in this house.
My husband says such an unbelievable logic. But no matter how much I told him that I didn't like it, he wouldn't listen to me. Then, a few days later, my mother-in-law, Alice, really came over. I'm so sorry to bother you.
Oh, Mom, you're here.
It's been a while, Alice. Oh, Mia, I didn't know you were here. You are so dull that I didn't even notice your presence. Alice suddenly speaks to me coldly like that. Anyways, I heard that you're not doing your job as a wife properly. No, I do my house chores properly, and Kevin has never complained about it. Oh, I can't have you being so arrogant like that. Well, it's not like that, but... Oh well, I guess you can't really help it. I'll work you back into shape. Saying that, Alice came into the house and brought in her huge luggages. Are you really going to live with us? Oh, you're so annoying. If you had behaved properly, this wouldn't have happened. If you want to hold a grudge against me, then you better know that it's all your incompetence and your bad attitude's fault. Well then, brew the coffee and prepare some snacks first.
Oh, and make sure to make mine too.
As soon as you finish serving the coffee, prepare the dinner, clean the shower and the restroom as well. I would want to use the shower and use the restroom in a clean condition. Alice and Kevin just ordered me to go and make coffee while they could relax together. I was not really allowed to have coffee with them, and they made me do the housework while they relaxed. It really annoyed me to hear Alice and Kevin laughing while I was doing the house chores. It was my day off that day, so it was still fine, but Alice bullying me and her forcing me to do all the house chores took place normally, even when I came home from work on weekdays. "You're late. Hurry up and make dinner." Yes. "Clean the bathtub and after, make the bath. The laundry is piling up. And clean the rooms." My mother-in-law, Alice, looks like she's feeling really good as she orders me around. It's as if she seems to be so excited to be able to order me around. And my husband, Kevin, looks at me as if it is completely normal that Alice would treat me like her slave. "Wow, honey, your house is really comfortable and nice. And the fact that you actually have a maid helps a lot too."
"Oh, Mom, do feel free to use her." "Hey, you, Mia, you better work hard."
The two of them mocked me by saying such things. How did this happen? It's almost like a scam to have a husband change so drastically like this after the marriage. And even Alice has come to live with us without any permission. But what about her husband, John? Does she not have to do any house chores at her home? I asked Alice about it before, but she said, "I don't need you to worry about that." Since then, I have not been able to ask her about it, so I decided to take the plunge and go to the house where Alice and John lived. According to Alice and Kevin, compared to Kevin, John was more the boss of the house and felt that he was the most important person in the family. But I didn't see John as such a terrible person. Well, Kevin was kind before we got married, so that's not really helpful, but... To avoid Alice and Kevin finding out about me going over, I lied by saying that I'm going to go shop for groceries and went to Alice and John's house on my day off. And when I pressed the doorbell, a woman whom I've never seen or heard before answered the door. I was so startled that I froze. Who are you?" The woman whom I've never seen before asks me, looking a little surprised. "Oh, well, I am Mia, and I am the wife of John's son, Kevin." When I say this, the woman replies, "Ah, you're the wife of my husband's son." Huh? Her husband? What does she mean by that? As I was startled even more, John came to the door, perhaps having heard the conversation between the woman and I.
"Oh, it's you, Mia. What's going on?"
"Huh? Oh, I came over to talk to you about Alice."
"Oh, I see. Does this mean that maybe Kevin didn't really talk to you, Mia, about this? Huh?"
"Yes, it seems so." Then John let me into the house and began to talk as we sat down in the living room.
"That woman, Kevin's mother, and I have already separated."
"What? Oh, really?" It seems like Alice and John had already divorced.
"I'm so sorry for keeping it quiet and not telling you. The truth is that before you and Kevin got married, we were already in the middle of divorce settlement. But I couldn't really tell my son about the fact that his own parents were in the middle of divorce settlement when he should be enjoying life, being happy, getting married to you. I thought I would do my duty as a parent for the time being until after his wedding."
I had no idea.
"I thought that Kevin would have told you by now, but it seems like he didn't tell you about it, huh?"
"Yes, this is the first time I heard anything about it."
"My ex-wife and I got divorced because of her affair."
"Huh?"
The divorce didn't go very smoothly because Alice didn't want to pay alimony and she was reluctant to get a divorce. She's now paying the alimony monthly, but anything can happen at any time if it's about Alice, you know.
John talked about Alice with such dismay.
"But I'll chase her down to the ends of the earth and make her pay for sure."
I was getting all kinds of information at once, and my brain was about to explode. I drank a cup of tea made by John's current wife to calm myself down.
"By the way, Mia, why did you come here today? You said you wanted to talk to me about Alice."
Well, actually, I decided to tell everything to John. and John was completely surprised to hear my story.
Wait a minute. Even Kevin was in on it with Alice and telling you such terrible things? I really don't want to say this, but I'm not the boss of the house at all, you know. Alice was the one who did not do any housework at all, and she hung out every night, and to top it all off, she was the one who had an affair. So, when I came home from work, I always cooked and ate dinner by myself and did the laundry and cleaning all by myself.
What? That's totally the opposite of what Kevin and Alice said.
Mia, you don't have to be their victim anymore. You should leave them immediately.
I thought John was right and decided to leave Kevin and Alice. I was serious about our marriage, and I was so preoccupied with the fact that Kevin and I had been married for less than a year, or that we had loved each other at least once. But because of that, I was killing my own true feelings. If I had to live with those two any longer, I would surely collapse mentally and physically. When I returned home, Kevin and Alice were gone. When I messaged my husband to ask where they had gone, he replied, "I'm out to dinner with my mom today, so we don't need dinner." In their minds, I was supposed to be at the grocery store to prepare for dinner. So I guess they went out to eat on purpose just to harass me. Although the thought was annoying, it was actually better for me. I quickly packed only the necessary things, left the house, and went back to my parents' house. My parents were surprised that I had suddenly returned back, but when I explained the situation, they were outraged at Kevin and Alice. They then told me that I could stay home as long as I wanted until I calmed down, so I took their word for it. About 2 hours later, around 9 p.m., I received a phone call from Kevin. But I didn't want to answer it, so I ignored it. The phone rang several times after that, but I just ignored it. It was annoying me, so I turned off the phone and went to sleep. The next morning, I left my parents' house and headed to work. When I turned my phone on while heading to work, I found a tremendous number of phone calls and messages. Both Kevin and Alice were probably angry at me for abandoning the house chores and quit being the maid because I had gone away for the night and never returned. I spent the next 3 days at my parents' house, ignoring any calls or messages from my husband. Then, arrangements with my lawyer were made, so I decided to just look over at the messages for now. I received many angry messages from my husband, such as, "Where are you?" and "Screw you," and "Mom is mad at you too." Others said, "You're an unfit wife. I married a woman like you, and now I'm disappointed in you because you're so useless. Come home quickly and do your chores." And many other heartful words were said in those messages. Then, noticing that I read all his messages, Kevin called me right away. "Yes?"
Hey, stop joking around. Why aren't you coming back home?
"I am sick and tired of being pushed around by you two."
Shut the hell up. You better stop being so selfish and just come back home. I've taken a dull woman like you into our family as my wife, so you should at least take care of the house, you piece of crap.
How could he say such a terrible thing? Well then, a dull woman like me will divorce a lousy, morally dishonest mama's boy like you then.
Huh?
It means I'm divorcing you.
Huh? Divorce? What the hell are you saying?
I'm being serious. I've already lawyered up, so I'll fight you until the end.
You hired a lawyer? Are you out of your mind?
I'll call a lawyer or whatever it takes to get away from you. Anyways, divorce is a must. And I'll take whatever I can get. I said that and hung up the phone on him. I think Kevin was saying something to me back, but I couldn't care less what he was saying. I then officially demanded a divorce from my husband through my lawyer. I also demanded alimony due to Kevin and Alice's moral harassment, as I had recorded many of the terrible things that were said by Kevin and Alice to me up to this point. Kevin protested, but he could not get away with it because I had proof. And as for Alice, in addition to the alimony, she was sued by John for defamation on having made a bad impression of John to other people by spreading lies about him. So, in addition to the alimony for the affair, Alice had to pay the alimony for the defamation as well. According to what I heard, it seems that Kevin actually knew that Alice and John was in the middle of divorce settlement, and that the reason he took that horrible bossy attitude towards me was because he wanted to ensure that I would actually obey him and listen to Alice. Since Kevin was a mama's boy, he was thinking of sacrificing me in order to help Alice. That's why he didn't let me quit my job and even made me do all the housework. He was also planning to use the savings from our shared account to pay for Alice's alimony. I'm so glad I divorced Kevin before he could do that. By the way, about Kevin and Alice after that, both of them owed alimony and had to live in extreme poverty. And Alice has done very little house chores up until now, so apparently Kevin is working 2 jobs to earn money for living expenses and alimony for the 2 of them, while also doing all the house chores.
I'm so exhausted. Please, help me.
I received a message like this from Kevin, but I ignored it and gently blocked him. Meanwhile, I am living modestly and saving money by renting an apartment. Recently, I have saved up quite a bit of money, and I am thinking of trying for investment to further increase my assets. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.